Hey guys, Lucas here. Thanks for tuning back to my channel. In this episode, we're going to be talking about vintage TAMIYA SUBARU BRAT. This is a sweet little truck, especially if you're not into speed. So what I mean by that, it's not a very fast truck. The original ones, the vintage ones, started out life with a 380 motor. So a very weak engine, and these are not light trucks. This is kit number 58038. So way up there in the years. So this is probably around 83. There's actually some of these out from 82. So what am I doing with a TAMIYA SUBARU BRAT? Especially the original one. Well, this one needs a lot of work onto the body. What I mean by that, I have to paint the roll bar and the nose bar. This is not my truck. A friend of mine who's in the military wants me to do some touch-ups on it. He doesn't have time. Doesn't want me to do any red paint rework, which I wanted to do. So I'm not going to be able to do any of that. But he does want me to do some of the minor touches to it. So I got to do some of the door handle paint. I got to paint the driver a little bit. And just easy things, nothing real complicated. It wants me to do, what else is it? Oh, in the front. So I got to do the Subaru logo and the Subaru logo in the back. So easy stuff to do, nothing real hard. Maybe he'll let me repaint it eventually. So, who are these for? It was always a concern of mine who bought Subaru Brats. And typically, I guess the kids would get the frogs, and the parents would have a Subaru BRAT because they're just not very fast cars. And you'll see that when I did a running review of this thing. Speed's probably around 15 miles an hour, so it's kind of slow. You can opt to get the 540 later on and put the 540 in, and that would definitely spice up the speed a bit, so you can probably get about 19 miles an hour out of it. And that's about it. With the 540, you really have to get like a sprint motor or something like that if you want any more speed out of it. These also came with positive traction rear ends, so there was no differential in the back, so they didn't take corners quite well. Another thing too, these had a unique steering setup, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. So typically servos weren't very strong back in the day, and this was an easy way to get the most out of a servo. Right here you're going to see a leverage right there in the front. So that would turn, that would push, and that would sort of torque the wheels with the servo. So you didn't really need a super strong servo in order to get the leverage you needed. So it helped with the steering setup. The frogs later on would not have that option. They would just have direct from servo horn to straight to the steering rods, to the steering knuckles, or whatever like that. So that's pretty much that. Let's talk a little bit more about the chassis differences from the frogs that would come out, because there's always this a frog is a BRAT. Not really. Does use some of the like the frame is similar, the gearbox, and even some of the gears aren't. Now the later reissue that was out from 2007 on up now does share a lot of features with the frog, quite a bit. But the original one does not so much, unless you get the later on models that have the other options. This one does give you the option for a metal plate or underguard protector that you'll see for the frog. You have that option. But in the really old ones, there's no hole there. So it's just straight chassis. Those are very sought after. I'm still trying to find one of those myself. Then you got this a body mount. That would be for the BRAT itself, not for a frog. The shocks are different too. They would be, these are like typical grasshopper plastic shocks, but the frogs would have the aluminum oil-filled shocks. That would also be in the later BRAT as well. This one I had to do a couple of different things. The gentleman that had this car, his dad gave him this MSC. This car has been around in this guy's family since new. So it's a very loved car and it doesn't want me to do too much to it. But it does want me to replace the MSC, which I do have one here to go with its vintage TAMIYA style. So I got that. Also, the white part is typically black on the old ones for the heatsink. So just some cool little things. This is also something that would be there, but doesn't need it. So that would be the on and off switch. These typically give you problems. This one happened to give him a problem. This one has been wired. So I had another one, so I just gave him one of mine. It's for a battery holder. So you need this if you're gonna run an old style radio, which we have an old style radio. So this is what we're gonna be doing in the future. So that's how we're gonna be running it. There's other little things too. This is just some of the basics of it. So with the newer SUBARU BRATs, you don't get the pretty window, clear window. You still get a nice window, but the window's not as clear. You can't see the driver as well. And the same goes for the back window. So, and then also the back of the bed typically has the area for your antenna tube. This one does not. That's how you know it's original. And I think the weight of these are just a tad heavier than the newer ones. So, alright, so that's pretty much it. So all I gotta do is a few little things to it, and then it'll be good to go. So this one has some holes in the bed, little tiny ones. So I gotta fill those up. And then I gotta change the driver a little bit. And she'll be looking pretty good. Gotta do a couple little detail marks here and there on the door handles and stuff like that. And that's pretty much it. These would also have these kinds of wheels. And they look pretty good. I like these CRP option ones better. Much cooler looking with the sandblaster tires. And then if this tire is, what's it called? A 225 turbo blaster for the fronts. So, looks pretty cool. So, that's pretty much it in a nutshell. Stay tuned for the running review on this one. If you guys like my channel, please hit a like. And I'd love for you to subscribe. You're definitely going to want to see the finished product, and you're definitely going to want to see it running. Alright guys, take care, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye.